Incoming Painted Demon Showcase. Spiky Bits. Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Baer from SpikyBits.com, and we have another beautifully painted miniature to show you today. It's Demon season. Well, at least when I'm recording this, it's Demon season. So Engine War is almost arrived in stores, and a lot of folks are getting hyped for that, and 9th edition 40k. So one of my guys here at Spiky Bits actually wanted a painted Magnus miniature, so I hit up the guys over at Stiffneck Studio. We made a little deal, and here we are with a fantastic looking Magnus miniature. Part of the deal was I had to do this promotional video for them, but I always love talking about those guys because they have such great looking stuff, and I see them all the time at cons and things. And you know, I always love seeing the folks that are out there in the hobby trenches doing the hobby work day in and day out. So make sure you check them out. We're gonna actually show you something a little different. We're gonna show you one of their eBay listings because their site's actually down and getting reworked right now. So hopefully by the time this video comes out, they'll have a brand spanking new website with all sorts of dope ass galleries for you guys to check out and see all the stuff they've been painting for almost like 20 years now, I think. I don't know, they've been around like pretty much forever. So like I said, we're over on their eBay listings. They keep up a couple listings just to kind of, you know, get business and things, but they're always pretty active on like Facebook and stuff like that. So if you're, you know, looking to hit them up about a commission, don't worry about their site being down. Even if it is still down right now, you can find them pretty much all over the place, you know, especially Facebook and things like that. So over here on their eBay listing, you can see they do have a Magnus the Red listing up right now, commission only, of course. It's not already pre-painted. And I was looking at this and I was like, oh dang, they used the Magnus they sent me for this miniature, you know, for this listing. And I started looking at it, and then I was like, wait a minute, no, the orb's in a different spot. And I started looking between the two, and I'm like, oh, they're just a little bit different. So it was really interesting to see. I'm sure they've painted like 18 million of these things now by now at this point. But to kind of check it out. Now here you get an idea of the price. Now, unfortunately, I don't have their website to show you kind of how they do the commission levels or lack thereof. They just kind of have like one level, and you just kind of like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and then they probably have some stuff to show you, and then boom. I think they actually showed me a Magnus, and I was like, yeah, that looks good. I like that. And then they're like, yeah, got it all painted up and stuff. I'm recalling so much has happened in the past 3 months. I think that's how it went. So pretty easy to work with, like I said, either way. So we're going to click on this and kind of show you some of the deets on it. This is a very well painted miniature. Now there's a little bit of difference between the one I'm going to show you today that we have here in the studio and this one here, but I mean, I ain't even mad about it. Like, Magnus is one of those models that's so big, and there's so much detail on him, from the feather tips to whatever way you set up his weaponry, or put, you know, the glowing orb and stuff. Like, I've seen it done a million different ways. Some people keep the armor off and, you know, have those magnificent nips just kind of hanging out, you know. So Magnus did plenty wrong, and one of the things is keeping his armor off. So this, I mean, this looks great. They hyper highlighted all the feather edges, you know, did all the gold super nice with not just a wash, but also going back and hitting all the edges. I can definitely relate to how much time it takes to do all that, doing a lot of gold work on my custodies. Incredible. Now here's some of the other stuff. They kind of threw this in here, like, hey, this is other stuff we painted, you know, hit us up about it. You can, so it's kind of like a little bit of a gallery, because, you know, you can kind of pick and choose and order from a menu in that regard. So here's some Death Guard stuff. That Morty looks super fresh. I'm always a fan of like the fleshy membrane kind of wings. Here it is a little bit better in some different light with the epic backdrop. Custody jet bikes, always looking fresh. I personally like the lighting effect. It just takes a little too long for me, so I just faded the ends of mine. But these guys look great for sure right here. Oh, this is a Fire Raptor, some sort of Chaos Fire Raptor, it looks like. I can't tell which Legion, but I really like that effect on the front viewport right there. This is definitely looking pretty fresh. And here's a Warhound. Now, this isn't a Tiny Titan, even though it is on a base, believe it or not. This is a full-size 40k Warhound Titan, because you can see the little scout speeder down there in 40k Scout, which is pretty ridiculous. And oh, this is Tempestus. This is the Legion I play, actually, in Titanicus. Some of my favorites right there. And then here is, looks like a Traitor Legion Warhound as well. Cadian Commander, maybe that's past, I can't really tell. Nurgle Plague Hulk. There's a different take on Nurgle, so more of a dark kind of bruised type deal for this particular model, and I like how they did the little UHU glue, I think they call it, UHU, little streamer of glue right there. That's kind of a neat effect to pull off. Oh, and a brass scorpion too, with some crazy looking soul forged type panels right there. So as you can see, they definitely have the talent, have the painters, have everything ready to go to do pretty much any project, from a single miniature, which they did for us, to larger, bigger projects. I've seen whole armies painted by these guys every year at ATCs. So incredible stuff. Let's jump over and look at the Magnus that we had done. So here he is right here, and I zoomed out a little bit to work on the exposure and stuff, because with all the power outages and things, all my setups were kind of out of whack. So when you get something in the mail, a completed project from Stiff Neck, you're probably going to get a little sticker and stuff that you can put on your army bags, and then like a little postcard and stuff to tell your friends and different things about them. They do have a discount on miniatures if you source the miniatures through them, and they do have free resin bases, free shipping, pretty fast turnarounds, when there isn't a worldwide pandemic happening, which kind of happened in between our project right there, and like I said, the discount on the miniatures themselves. So this is actually one of their free resin bases that you'll get with your army. I don't know what brand. I think they might have had a bunch done for themselves. So, but either way, it's definitely very striking, and they go very well with all the miniatures. So here's a better look at Magnus himself, and you can see why I was kind of confused. I was like, wait, this isn't the one that was in the eBay listing. I mean, although it is very similar, and I suppose when you knock out as many of these miniatures commissions as they do, it's like, okay, well, here's the way I'm pretty much doing everything. So it doesn't really change that much. But then when you start looking at it, I think they took a few little artistic liberties, of course. Like, I do like the addition of the green effects between the eye and the little glow on the orb here. And they actually worked the glow into kind of being a planet, believe it or not. It actually looks like that's North America right there. And there's South America, and I don't know what they did on the back there. Oh yeah, they actually got Africa, and you can almost see Europe. It looks like Europe's on fire. So great freehand that I just kind of noticed in there. That's kind of nuts that they did that and got little clouds and everything. Let's see if we can zoom in on that, because I feel like that's pretty cool. Aha, there it is. So you can see there, it's definitely in America, definitely South America, and starts to go around over there to Africa on the back, and lots of cloud cover and different things. But since we're zoomed in, I wanted to talk about this particular arm right here. So they did lots of hyper highlighting and such, like right here over the eye of Magnus. It's actually kind of part of his skin now. But you can see, not only is everything just airbrushed, but it's also gone back hyper highlighted. It looks like it's even glazed a bit, washed, glazed, the whole 9 yards. And there you can see where the eye definitely matches up to the flame, the kind of mythical, ethereal glow on the orb right there. Now, moving on down the miniature itself, you can see a lot more of the detail on the armor plating, where they did, yes, a little bit of a blue glow and things, but the actual gold work is pretty incredible. It's almost like a very muted kind of gold that goes well with both silver and all the different colors, the blues and the purples that they used in here. And then they hyper highlighted everything. I mean, you do have to have a little bit of blue and purple because it is Tzeentch, but then blue and purple works really good with like that scarlet kind of side of red right there. And then doing the super glowy bits, like on this side, it's got the super blue purple glows on the flame work and the shoulder pad Tzeentch kind of eye right there. So I like their take on the whole Eye of Magnus kind of motif, where you got this side with this power and this side kind of with this power right here. And then the cape itself is done very well. It's not exactly the same as the cape on the eBay listing right there, but you can definitely tell where they did a lot of work on it still, you know, between the blending and the glazing and the different things. It's not hyper highlighted and edged around the little lip of it, but it still looks really great. And then here you can see the work that they did to kind of brighten up the feathers on the bottom right here. It's great detail. The Book of Magnus as well on his shoulder, or on his hip right here. And then getting up into the actual wing tips themselves, did a lot of work up in here and then down into here, but kind of left this, because it's darker, they kind of left it alone a little bit, put a little bit of a transition on, a little bit of a glaze so you can see the depth inside the little fairings of the wingtips right there, or the feathers rather. And I kind of like that. Like, why do more when that is just good enough? I feel like, you know, yeah, you could hyper highlight it, but why pay, you know, more money when you can get more detail into other areas? And on the back here, the glow around the inner feathers, I don't know what those are called, I'm not a birdologist, look really great too. And then they took some extra time and went in here and did the like pinion kind of armor type things right here. So lots of work, but the areas that were kind of left a little bit alone make sense because they're darker. So I get it, and that's pretty cool, and I definitely like where they went with that. And but just the color palette with these browns that really work themselves in to the scarlets, the blues, the purples, and everything like that, and then even this very bluish kind of gray to round it all out just looks simply stunning. And then, like I said, they do the free resin bases with all their commissions and stuff. It just makes it easier because I'm sure they bulk kind of paint all these things up for each project, which makes a lot of sense because you don't have to worry about texturing and all that stuff. You just bulk them up, put a couple of tufts on there, and hey, you're good to go. So very fresh looking Magnus from Stiff Neck Studios. Like I said, check them out. Their website might not be back up yet, but if you're getting to this video from like a website post or something like that over on Spiky Bits, we'll definitely let you know if it is up. But if you're watching it on YouTube, chances are, you know, you'd have to check the comments or the description field. But like I said, you can always hit them up on the Facebooks as well and things like that. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching our little hobby corner review and showcase of this fantastic looking Magnus the Red by Stiff Neck Studios. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos.